In 1964, in an elementary school, the future of a group of children was changed by a lie. No one told them. No one noticed. But by the end of the year, some of those children showed impossible growth, as if they'd become different people overnight. Not test scores, not intelligence, not talent. Just one sentence had changed, and it wasn't the children who heard it, it was their teachers. What I'm about to tell you might be one of the most uncomfortable truths about your life. How much you believe in someone can actually change what they become. And that's true for other people and for yourself. In psychology, this is called the Pygmalion Effect. It takes its name from Greek mythology, the story of a sculptor named Pygmalion who fell so deeply in love with, and believed so completely in, the statue he'd carved that it came to life. In modern psychology, this isn't a myth anymore. It's a measurable, repeatable effect. Your expectation of someone can change their actual performance, their actual behavior, even their actual ability. Let me say that again, because it sounds like a motivational poster, but it isn't. This isn't a think positive and your life will change story. This is a cold scientific mechanism, tested over and over under controlled conditions in a lab. In 1965, psychologist Robert Rosenthal and school principal Lenore Jacobson went to an elementary school in San Francisco. They called it Oak School. They gave all the students a standard ordinary intelligence test. But they told the teachers it was called the Harvard Test of Inflected Acquisition. It sounded very scientific, very serious. The researchers picked a completely random 20% of students from every class, like drawing names out of a hat. And they gave teachers these randomly chosen names and said, based on the test results, these children are going to show an extraordinary intellectual growth this year. These children's actual test scores were no different from the rest of the class. Statistically, they were identical. 8 months later, the researchers came back. They gave the same test again. The children who'd been called special, completely at random, scored significantly higher on average on their IQ test than the others. 20, 30 points. Just because a teacher held a false belief about a child. So how was this possible? Did the teachers secretly give those kids a special curriculum? Extra lessons? No. When Rosenthal and later researchers studied teacher behavior second by second, on video, 1. A warmer climate. Teachers, without realizing it, smiled more at the special students, made eye contact more often, and used a softer tone of voice. 2. More input. These students were given harder, more enriched material because on some level the teacher was thinking, this kid can handle it. 3. More opportunity. When they gave a wrong answer to a hard question, the teacher waited longer, gave more hints, offered a second chance. For the other students, that patience was much shorter. 4. Deeper feedback. The feedback given to special students was more detailed, more constructive, more personal. And here's the most striking part. None of the teachers were aware of it. When asked, they swore they treated every student equally. The expectation was running underneath their conscious mind like an invisible hand guiding behavior. And now we get to the truly uncomfortable part. If high expectation can actually make a child smarter, what does low expectation do? It's called the Golem Effect, named after the clay creature from Jewish folklore that turns against its creator. If you look at someone as if they simply can't do it, you give them less opportunity, less patience, less trust, often without even realizing it. And that person really does become less successful. Not because you told them, that's just how you are, but because that's how you treated them. When a manager mentally labels an employee as just average, they'll never move up, that employee gets fewer challenging projects, less feedback, gets asked their opinion less in meetings. The employee doesn't even feel it happening, but their opportunities shrink. And years later, that manager says, see, I was right, never realizing they built their own self-fulfilling prophecy. When a parent tells their child, even as a joke, over and over, you're just bad at math, that runs in our family, the child internalizes that sentence as an identity. When math gets hard, they give up faster, saying, I'm just bad at this. It's not the lack of ability that stops them. It's the lack of expectation. Even among teachers, one who reads a note in a student's file saying, was a problem student last year, can end up, without realizing it, being less patient, giving up sooner. And maybe the most striking example? You do this to yourself too. If you keep telling yourself, this is just who I am, I'm just not good at this, you give yourself less of a chance, less patience, less effort. The expectation runs that same invisible hand on you as well. One thing needs to be clear here. This isn't just think positive and everything works out. Expectation doesn't make the impossible possible. It doesn't change physical, structural, real limits. But if there's real measurable potential, expectation acts like an invisible threshold, deciding whether that potential gets to come out at all. And the person who controls that threshold most is usually not someone else. It's you. So the next time you tell someone or yourself, that's just how you are, you've always been bad at this, stop for a second. Maybe it isn't true. Maybe they became that way because that's how you treated them. And maybe the first thing that needs to change isn't them. It's how you see them.